Hello again, folks, and welcome to the Fight Club Jiu Jitsu channel. Today we have another student sparring video coming at you, and the rules for today are that you can only finish people, so you can only submit people, only tap people out from the back or something starting on the back. So say you were on their back, they try and escape and you switch off to an armbar, for instance, and you finish them with the armbar. So only being able to finish from the back was the rule for the sparring this evening. Now I'll try and commentate. I'll try and focus on one pair per roll so that we get a good look. And let's focus down the front here. We have a purple belt, Young, and white belt, Anthony. Young sort of stepping over, Anthony elevated, almost like on the way through to an X-guard type of thing, and Young just sat back down on his butt. So now Anthony's working on his passing. Young gets that cross collar grip, turns it into a little ankle pick. So that would be 2 points there if that was a tournament. We'll talk about point scoring throughout the video as well. A lot of people at the lower levels, white belt in particular, and then into their blue belt still even, will often give up easy sweep points. One of the ways that people lose competitions a lot is actually by beating themselves more than being beaten by their opponents. They do things that give up really easy points, and then they lose, and then they wonder what's happened and why they didn't win. So now, that would have been the case there. Anthony kind of gave up that little cross-collar, knee pick type of sweep very easily. Probably didn't need to sit back. Young came on top, and now Young's trying to work that half-guard pass. Anthony doing a good job there to reclaim a better half-guard position, but Young's got the forearm choke. He's trying to take away Anthony's frame on his own neck. He's trying to keep his partner flat on his back. So you can see there, putting a little bit of pressure. He looks like he's got the tail of the gi there as well. So might be using that as a bit of a better handle, try and get a little bit more pressure. But just kind of sitting up now, being patient. You can see he's sort of thinking to himself, having a look, trying to figure out, okay, how can I get to his back? He might be thinking of rolling back takes. He might be thinking of, stepping through backside, or even just freeing his leg. Anthony there has a triangle locked on Young's left leg. And that's usually what we would do just to hold on to somebody more than using it for offense. So unless you're really trying to just hang on to someone in your half guard and not let them pass, normally we don't use that triangle grip because that kind of locks us in position as well, and now we can't necessarily sweep, we can't bridge, we can't hip escape, all those sorts of things. There we go. So Young tried to roll, but he kind of rolled over the wrong direction. So if he had his left leg in a normal half guard position, he would actually want to roll over his left shoulder towards his right, away from his partner, to try and take the back there. So kind of went for that roll, missed it. They're having a bit of a chat. Resetting Young on top. Anthony trying to get that half guard, but Young's putting good pressure on. Just loses his pressure a little bit, switches to the other direction though and gets his pass. So in Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, passing is worth 3 points. It's the only thing in the scoring system that's worth 3 points, so hopefully a little bit easy for people to remember. But Anthony manages to get his half guard. Knee cut attempt there from Young posting up. Anthony probably should have gone, if he knows it, into a deep half guard there, so he actually roll his legs to his left, brings Young's weight over the top, but didn't quite do it, and that left him a bit exposed. And Young there again with a nice little pass, jumping through. He's using that cross face there just to help try and keep Anthony from turning in stomach down. But gives it up, sort of goes back to a guard and then resets again into a knee ride briefly. Now Anthony's doing a good job here, keeping his arms in, framing, try not to expose them at all. He knows that as the man on bottom now, he can only get finished for this drill if Young can get to his back. So he's trying to work on now his patience, trying to work on being calm in uncomfortable situations, especially like this with a knee ride with that nice heavy crossface with the lapel grip. This is a really nice drill where you make people only able to finish from certain spots, because then it gives the other person, especially if they're less experienced, it gives them a little bit more of a fighting chance, but also it gives them time being in uncomfortable positions. If you're the person on bottom, your partner's mounted on you, but they can't finish you from mount, then you know you can just relax. And now you can force your partner to work to try and expose the back or get to knee ride or do whatever the rules are. It gives you much more chance to save your energy and then time your escape, just like we saw then, so that you can try and get out during a transition, which is usually the riskiest time for the person in control. And so Anthony there, nice little escape, kind of bumped up the butt of Young, threw him over the top. Finds himself now in a passing position. And Young coming up again with that little collar punch. Didn't even have to really go for a knee pick or an ankle pick there. Anthony kind of sat back, and again, that would have been one of those instances where you see people kind of giving up easy, sweet points. They sit back a little bit too voluntarily. They might be tired, they might have a good guard, and they think, you know what, I have faith in my abilities off my back, I'm just going to sit back and play from the bottom. But that's a habit that can develop, and then when you're in the heat of battle and you might be, say, up by a point, now all of a sudden you sit back too easily, your opponent gets the sweet points, and now they're up. Young switching there from one side to the other with the little windshield wiper knee ride transition, which was quite nice. Comes back up to knee ride again. Now he might be looking to try and turn his partner in, but the buzzer went and we've switched partners. So let's focus now down on the front here. We have Milton in the blue, Young in the purple. Young switching off to a De La Riva there, but he doesn't really have his left leg in front, so Milton's almost past there. Young's got to be careful there, almost like a knee cut, but he times a little bump up the butt very nicely, uses that to reset, and he's back into this sitting guard position here now. Milton went for almost like a little X pass, but from the knees. Young controlling the collar again, using that cross collar grip quite nicely. Goes for that little punch. Ankle pick sort of variation of the sweep, but Milton fought against it. And he's sort of sitting tight in his combat base here. You can see the battle for the underhook now in that half guard, and now Milton goes into a closed guard. Ducks the head free. Young trying to climb up the grip. Again, using that little collar drag. Turns it into a little knee pick. And you can see again, Young's hit that little knee pick off the collar drag a couple of times now, so you can start to see that little bit of a pattern. Uses it to sweep, gets up into a passing position, but Milton with our blue belt on the bottom manages to get an underhook. He'll be looking to put Young into his half guard or try and go belly down and come up onto a single leg potentially. We're just in a bit of a stalemate here. Young's using that cross-face pressure to stop Milton turning right in. Milton's trying to keep the left underhook at the same time. And there, Young relieves a bit of pressure. Milton manages to get his knees in momentarily, but then Young moves around towards that north-south position just to get away from the legs, and then gets back into his side control once again. Now you can see Milton's just relaxing, doing a good job, just staying there, making the guy on top work. until he feels like he can bump his hips and move. He's got the frame on the neck and the forearm pressure there to try and take some of that weight off him. Remember, if you're the person being controlled, 9 times out of 10, you're looking at creating space so that you can escape. And then conversely, the person on top, 9 times out of 10, they're looking at taking away as much space as possible to make it as hard as possible for you to escape. And that's what we kind of see here. So we see the frame on the hip and the forearm from Milton on bottom. Young looks like he wants to try and step through and do a rolling back take, but he's got the wrong leg. Now he's got in position, but rolls through too straight there. Milton manages to roll with him, turns it into a sweep. So little 2 points there for Milton. Nice little sweep, countering off the rolling back take. And now he's tripoding up in that half guard. I'd like to see him put his head on the near side when he does that tripod. That way he can use his head pressure to try and push his opponent's face away in the opposite direction to his knees. Remember, anytime that we can push someone's head and legs in opposite directions, we cause a little bit of weakness in them, and it makes it a little bit easier to pass. So I would have liked to have seen that. Didn't get quite enough pressure, so Young manages to get back into a full guard, kind of in a scissor sweep position here by the look of things. And there we go, scissor sweep, gets the 2 points back, comes up into the half guard, but again, Milton on bottom doing a very nice job of staying on his side, getting his underhook. And you can see here now, in comparison to the last bit that we looked at, he's not really locking down on that half guard. He's using that inside leg to clamp on the leg, and then using his free leg to hopefully try and work some offense. So there, tries to come up on that single leg. Young stands to defend though. We get ourselves into a little bit of a scramble. Quick pause in the action while we fix up the gi and the belt. We'll switch gears now and focus on Dave and Anthony here. Anthony on the back traps the arm of Dave. So now the guy in the blue gi at the front here, Dave only having one hand to defend. Anthony flattening him out nicely, keeping the weight through the hips. Gets the arm under, starts to lock in the rear naked and gets the tap, very nice. Now we'll go back over to the back corner here with Milton and Young, purple belt versus blue belt. Young doing a nice job with the collar grip again there, just to break the posture down so Milton can't stand up and work his passing quite effectively. Young really pulling him down, and there, another example of a nice easy sweep where, in all honesty, that was probably Milton just sitting down giving up those points as opposed to Young actually sweeping him and getting him down. So I'd like to see that change a little bit, try to get that mentality of not accepting sweeps quite so easy from Milton there, because I think that's 1 or 2 times at least during this roll that's happened. But he has done a good job at recovering, getting his underhook in the half guard, sort of a knee shield, sort of a switching off there into almost a reverse De La Riva. His opponent stands, but the buzzer's going to beat them both to it. And so now we're switching again. Okay, let's have a look here at our white belt Anthony and our blue belt Milton in the front, and then up the back we have purple belt Young, white belt Dave, but we can't see them quite so good, so we might focus down the front here. Anthony pulling guard, managing to get Milton into a closed guard. So given the rule set of this roll, where we can only submit from the back, not a bad option for Anthony there, because obviously Milton's not on his back at all. However, Milton has a very good double underhook, a stacking pass, which he starts to go for here. This is a great pass if you want to expose your opponent's back, because the pressure of the pass often causes your opponent to roll into a turtle position. kind of ended up in a north-south there. Anthony doing a very good job keeping his back on the floor. So he was trying really hard not to roll and get his back taken then. So he did a great job keeping his back on the mat. Milton now ending up in side control. And because of that, he now has to work extra hard to try and expose the back. So good strategy there from Anthony. Milton in sort of a north-south chasing. Anthony trying to come up into the guard. Milton drives though, beats him to the head height position. Anthony scoops the legs underneath to escape that sort of a side mount position, but Milton transitions nicely, maintaining side control. Now, if Milton could bring his left arm onto the tricep just above the elbow of his opponent there, he would have exposed the back a little bit easier, but now he's got it. So now he's got that chest on back position. Doesn't have the hooks in yet, so no points from a competition standpoint, but he is in a nice position here. He's exposing the back, taking it step by step. Sits back, throws one hook over. Still no points because he hasn't got both of his hooks in, and Anthony's doing a nice job trying to pin that bottom leg that would be the second hook, skirt his hips out over the top, but as he does it, he relieves the pressure. Milton gets his second hook in. So there's 4 points for the back take from Milton there. Anthony trying to pass the arm over the head so that he can avoid any choking pressure. You just have to be careful with that escape, obviously. There's a risk of getting armbarred. Now Milton's losing the position. You can see our white belt Anthony wiggling out. Good, and then he sits up, manages to turn on top, ends up in closed guard. So very nice escape there. Milton opening up the game here. Playing a bit of seated guard, got that collar grip. Good posturing from Anthony. He's trying to control the legs, trying to back out at this moment. And Milton with a nice sleeve grip there. Now here you can see Anthony's put his bum down on the mat. If Milton comes up, there we go, very easy sweep. Again, not even a real sweep there. Almost came up to a mounted position. Anthony pushed him back down, and as he's done that, Milton's gone into a triangle position. Now he's sort of locking the triangle up, but he's not allowed to use it to submit. So now you can see Milton is trying to sweep, extending the hips, trying to get to the mount position. Nice recovery from Anthony. Milton loses it, but he ends up in a leg drag, comes back around to side control. Anthony trying to reclaim his guard there, but Milton did a nice job of moving. Now steps through to north-south. We'll see if Milton can expose the back here from north-south. There are a couple of nice transitions where you can take the back from the north-south position. Now this is a really nice drill where you force somebody to only submit from one position because it forces you to look for ways to get to those spots. So a lot of the time in Jiu Jitsu, we just take what we're given. Someone puts their arm out, we grab it. Someone moves their weight, we sweep them. This drill here is very good for proactive Jiu Jitsu in the sense that we're forcing them to give us the position, whatever it may be. If we're only allowed to finish from the mount, we make them give us the mount. If we're only allowed to finish from the back, we make them expose the back. And we saw that there from Milton, very nicely done. Gets the hooks in, gets his 4 points for his back control. Looks like he may have a collar grip with the right hand, switching off to a bow and arrow. Now I'd like to see Milton get his right leg over the arm of Anthony there so he can take away that grip. But not quite. Now here even he could try and bring his left arm over the top and get a one arm choke. Switches off to a mounted head arm choke. But again, Milton's not allowed to finish from there. So he's trying to use it to expose the back again, very nice. Then switches off to his finishing hold. Good job, nice awareness there, knowing not to finish from the mount, that was very good. Both guys looking pretty gassed. A lot of hard work, this proactive jiu-jitsu where you're trying to force opponents to make an escape as opposed to playing a more relaxed style. A lot of hard work, especially here on the Gold Coast. Very hot, very humid, so the guys are struggling here at the moment. Coming towards the end of the round, Milton sitting, pulling guard. Anthony trying to stack the legs up. Just doesn't have enough control on those legs. You can see Milton moving them around a lot. Starts to pass. Nice pressure there. That's where he wants to jump direction. He does, but Milton hip escapes. Times it beautifully, exposing the back. Very nice. And we're coming towards the end of the round here. And the clock beats. Alright, thank you for watching once again. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the page. Let us know what you would like to see down below in the comments. Thanks for watching.